Hello, Selena here. How are you all doing? Anyways, well, I just wanted to make sure that I just wanted to make sure I told my testimony. This is probably my second cut of it. Well, there's no probably. This is the second cut of it. However, I just wanted to make sure that before I close my eyes on this day, that I was obedient and telling my testimony and posting it. Um, okay, so the story sort of starts about a ways back, about a decade. In that time period of the last 10 years, and I'm not even talking about this year, even though some things did take place this year as well. Um, Essentially, what happened was in that time period, life was lifing. I was battling depression, financial hardship, and just a lot of everything. And it was rough. It was very tough. Um, in 2019, I attempted suicide, and that was probably after that point. I was never really suicidal after that. Um, but yeah, suffered a lot of just a lot of stuff that it was a lot of things that took place in that time period. But I made it through. And not anything that I did. It was nothing but by the grace of God. And it was a lot. Um, Learning to life on the other side of a suicide attempt is not easy. It's not an easy life because it's an adjustment. A lot of times people talk about, surviving depression, getting on the other side of it, and it's good. It's definitely a blessing from God to make it to the other side of the depression and to put in the work, to go to therapy and to just process your stuff. And it's a lot. We all have we all have things that's happened to us. We all have trauma. We all have we just have stuff. And a lot of times it's delayed processing because I know in my life it's always been, oh, it doesn't matter how you feel, you just have to get up and do it. And that doesn't work. Anyone who says that just get up and keep doing it and put on your big girl drawers and you got this and just sweep it under the rug and it'll go away, it never does. So understand this. Don't sweep it. Yes, you do have to keep going. Yes, you do have to put in the work. It's not an easy journey. You will have your good days, you will have your bad days, but I'm here to tell you, I'm a living witness of it, that you can go on the other side of depression. You can get to the other side. You can get to the point that you're not suicidal. You can do it. It is possible. With all things, with God, all things are possible. You can get to the other side of that. And so I will always be an advocate and keep pushing. To keep pushing, keep praying, and keep trusting God. Because even when everyone else walks out, because people will leave your life. When everyone leaves, when everyone turns their back on you, when you're stabbed in the back, when all of those things take place, when you lose it all, because I lost it all 3 times. It wasn't an easy process. It wasn't an easy process for me, and it wasn't an easy process for my family. But we made it. We made it through. Even having to learn to cope with having a child that also attempted suicide and having to deal with, you know, me. I dealt with the guilt because I'm like, you know, maybe I introduced, this is how you deal with trauma. Like, I was not the poster child on how do you deal with trauma, how do you deal with when crap happens, because here, there I was at 30 something years old, and I'm attempting suicide. I was not supposed to give for how do you deal with trauma, or adult, because I'm no longer a child. But we made it. And I say we because it was my entire family, my entire family. I mean, me and my husband and my children. We made it through the roughest season of our life. It was a very long season. It was a decade. It was bad, and then it got significantly worse the last 3 or 4 years. It got significantly worse after that. It's like the oven turned on and up. And so it was definitely a process. Um, definitely I dealt with a lot. My family as a whole. Um, my daughter, one of my daughters attempted suicide over 15 times. Um, in the middle of the pandemic, it was definitely a big one. It was a lot. And then once, you know, we got her past that. That's simultaneously dealing with my own trauma and my own stuff. And then some other things happened with my other children. So it was a lot. It really was. And I'm going to be honest, I really had to depend on God because it wasn't just about what happened. It was, you know, you come across on how people handle you and how people handle your family, your children. And even when you know without a doubt that certain individuals are dead wrong and they deserve to be up under the jail, you still have certain people that feel like it's okay. You should sweep it just because it's beneficial to the family and they don't have to acknowledge that those things occurred. But I thank God that even when everyone else, and I did have some people in my corner, but I had a lot of people, I've had some people I thought that I was close to, that I thought would be in my corner, at least forget me, would be at least be in my kid corner. And they weren't. And it was a lot. It was hurtful. And then you deal with relationships, like ships in general, not even just family, but, you know, friendships, and just a whole lot of, you learn who really quick is in your corner. And what I learned who's in my corner, and I'm thankful to those people. And honestly, if anybody of those people come across this post, you know who you are. You know you are in my corner. And I will forever be grateful for the things that you all did to aid me and my family in our roughest season of our lives. But thankfully, you know, the Bible tells us that trouble doesn't last always. And it didn't. Eventually it did. And it was a long journey. It really was. I'm sitting here in my garage in my car. And you know what? As I sit here in my garage, in my car, I realize that not too long ago I didn't have a car. Not too long ago, I went a year without a car in 2021. I went almost a year without a car. And it's so crazy because this time around, the same thing happened. I sort of think it was sort of by far the reason why I went without a car. I was so mad at God. I was having a conversation with Jesus, and Jesus let me know who was in charge. And it was not I. Then a deer jumped out of nowhere. So, yeah. But a year ago, I was staying with my mother-in-law. It wasn't even a full year, to be honest. Moved, we got a place in May. After 2 years of filling out applications to apartments and houses and getting denied, we finally got approved. God has a way of coming through for us, and I found that He came through for me and my family when I completely submitted myself to Him. It's like, I'm not going to fight this thing anymore. Whatever you want, God, you get. And God's been putting and pressing on me. He's like, tell your testimony. So my testimony is it's big. It's a big one. If I was to go into details, we'll be here all day. But I don't want to take the spotlight away from God. I want you all to know that you can overcome depression. You can overcome depression. It's possible. It takes work. It takes a lot of work. Because once you decide that you gotta live, the devil comes and he comes for everything. So you have to stay anchored in God. You have to stay anchored in Jesus. You have to. That is how I got through. Now, I'm not going to sit up here and tell you that it was, I just prayed and this, that, and the third, because the Bible tells us that faith without work is dead. So I definitely put in the work. I went to therapy. Everything that my daughter learned, what I learned from my kids going to therapy, because all my kids go to therapy. Everything that I learned from all my children going to therapy, everything that they taught them that I was privy to, the different coping mechanisms and all of those things, I applied those things to my life. And it works. Like I'm telling y'all, it works. And God is just so amazing. God is amazing. God blessed us with a house. He blessed our finances. He blessed our credit. But there was a long season in life where it felt like everything we touched crumbled. And it lasted a long time. I remember when people would tell me, like, hey, Selena, you're going to make it through. This is not the end all. And I'm like, you can say that now. Like, you can say that now that you're not in it. I've been in this thing for 10 years, and then God had a room. Then I had to realize that there's plenty of people that's been in the pit longer than you. Some type of way, God has to make a way. He has to come through, because He doesn't get the glory if He doesn't. And so, as quick as I want to make it, I can't make it too quick. But in the time period, I lost everything 3 times. Definitely learned how to govern my finances, and just trust God, because a lot of the things that did take place, it was not even our fault. Me and my husband's fault. It wasn't. We were dealt a hand that was pretty rough. Or mainly my children were. But to the individuals that were responsible for those things, We all have to reap what we sow. We all do. And I'm sure that they will reap what they sow. I'm sure. But that isn't my place. God came through for my family. And to the woman, the mother, or the father, or the man, or the woman or man that's battling depression, you're going through the roughest season of your life. I just want you to know that no, it doesn't last always, and yes, it's hard. But God healed me from my depression and my suicidalness. He healed me. He healed me in ways that I did not know needed healing. And He can do the same for you. To the mother or father who is parenting a child or children that are attempting suicide, there is an end to that. There is an end to that. There is. You can make it to the other side, and I pray right now over every person that is dealing with depression and suicidal thoughts and ideations. I pray right now for their healing. But I know that it's tough. Life is tough for everyone. It's tough. But just know that you will make it through this. This is not your ending. This is not your ending. What I've come to realize is that my struggle, the battle, it will become my ministry because I'm not really even my ministry. I'll say God's ministry because I just want people to know that there is another side to the depression. There is another side to the suicidal thoughts. There is another side to the just when life gets to life, and there is another side to it. And God restored my family. He restored my kids. He restored our minds. And I just want you to know that it's possible, that with God, all things are possible. Because there was a time there where I thought that I was going to bury my kids. I remember once my daughter told me what song she wanted played at her funeral. So yeah, there is another side. And it's hard. It is a battle in prayer. And it's a battle in walking and help and being beside them as they go through their healing. Because there are some battles, as I told my kids, I can't do this battle for you. You have to do it for you. As a mom, as a parent, we want to do everything for our kids and make sure that they are not hurting and not alone. But anyone who ever had to move around that mental health system of hospitals and how that works, us as parents, we can't go to the hospital with them. We can't even ride in the ambulance with them to go to the mental health hospital. And so I always told my kids that, that leg of the journey, they have to take by themselves. But anyways, I'll end the night by saying this. I know that this holiday season can be rough and it can be a trigger. It can be a trigger with grief. It can be a trigger with just responsibilities, especially if you're having any type of financial hardship and depression or anything. When we think about the holidays, everyone thinks about the loved ones that are not here anymore. And then people think about, Christmas is coming up. Maybe you're having a hard time in your finances. Definitely understand. 100% been there. It's lifing now, but it's just not like it was. But I trust God. And that's the only thing that any of us can do. We can just trust God. That's it. And so that is the life that I'm walking into now. And I know that this season of the year can be stressful. With Christmas coming up, not really knowing how you're going to get all those gifts that your kids want for Christmas, not even knowing how you're going to make it through the month. Because we all know, I think everyone should know how it feels to have more month than money. And it does not help when it is the holiday season, when that takes place. But just know, with God, all things are possible. You can get to the other side of it. I never thought that I would ever say that I would make it to the other side of depression. But I did. It was nothing that I did. It was nobody but God. And that's the truth. Because I battled depression for all of my life. There wasn't a time where I did not remember being depressed. And God healed me. And I just want you to know that He can heal you too. And no, it may not happen overnight. But He can heal you. And so I'll end with that. Keep praying. Keep pushing. And God has you. And you will make it through. You will. I love y'all. Bye.